All right, welcome everybody. My name is Jonathan Crable. I'm an associate professor here at Columbus State Community College, and this is going to be the second interview in our leadership series with our partner, Ohio Minority Supplier Development Council, and the 300 plus MBEs that they serve on a daily basis. And today I wanted to introduce Zulene Adams of Z Promotions here in Central Ohio, more specifically Pickerington. And Zulene, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and give an introduction to yourself. We'll take the questions from there.
Absolutely. Thank you for the warm welcome, Jonathan. Again, my name is Zulene Adams. I'm the CEO of Z Promotions. Z Promotions is a full service promotional products company. So just to boil it down and make it a little easy for folks, it's all of those items that you think of that has a brand or a logo on them. So anytime that you've seen, on campus, this Columbus State logo on a mug, a t-shirt, and things like that, that's what we do. Now, on a more expanded view of what we do, we're really an extension of a business's marketing team, or sometimes we're their marketing team if they don't have one, because we don't sell those things that you guys may think of, tchotchkes and trinkets. What we do is we actually get to know our clients. We understand their mission, their vision, their values, and their objectives. And what we do is we take that information and we work collaboratively among our team, and we come up with highly qualified recommendations to the right item to use and how to use it, because the most important thing is that you receive a return on that investment. If you visit our website, which many people do, you'll always receive a follow-up phone call, because we'll, inquire as to what that product is for, who you're targeting, what your event date is, if there's a theme for the event, because we want to make sure that you're successful, because there's nothing worse than just picking an arbitrary item on a website just because you need it for an event, but it not really producing the results that you want. We've been doing this for almost 15 years. So in June, we'll be celebrating our 15th year. Thank you so much. So we're just looking to continued success and, continued involvement in our business community. And I really appreciate the time that you're giving me today.
So 15 years is nothing to lift your nose at. I mean, that's impressive to be in business and not just be in business, but growing and flourishing and thriving. 15 years, that's great. Awesome job to you and your team, Zulene. I know that we're supposed to talk about leadership and kind of take the conversation there, but I just had a random question for you. And, in your decade plus of experience with Z Promotions, what's been the most exciting promotion or strategy or, you said tchotchke that you've kind of rolled out for a client?
Well, we've done all kinds of things. What I love about what I do is the fact that every day is different. It's not the same day when I come in at 7:30. It's always something different because we have a new project, a new campaign. The beauty of Z Promotions is that we also have relationships with plants overseas. So we do a lot of custom items. So things that would end up being also proprietary to our clients. There have been some really fun items, but what has been born from COVID, and it hasn't really been born from COVID, but the use of it hasn't increased, or kits. So because we're doing a lot of virtual events, such as this interview here today, there has been a loss of engagement, right? That you would typically have in in-person trade shows, conventions, workshops, things like that. So what we've been doing is increasing that engagement by sending out kits to the attendees. And it'll have various items just depending on what that particular event is about. But it can have, just recently over the winter break, actually what we did was for Compto Columbus, we did a wonderful kit for all the members. And that included just, a bunch of thank you relaxation gifts. So, we had fuzzy socks in there, and we had candles, and, we had a movie card, things like that were put in there in a custom box. So that's something that is very big and that people are now exercising more and more. It's something that we've always talked about, for all of our 15 years, but it's exciting now to see that our clients are implementing that on a regular basis. So it's not about one particular product, but it's really about the kitting solution and then, coming up with various items to execute the event.
Well, you actually said something there. You're really focusing on communication. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's take a step back and not so much communication with your clients and customers, but let's just keep this from an internal perspective. When you look at communication, how do you really foster open communication amongst all of your employees?
Well, that's actually starts from the very beginning. So from the time that we're through our interviewing process and training and onboarding, we are very open in terms of how we communicate. We let everyone know that it's not about trying to get access to any one person. They know if they want to talk to me, they're always open to come to the CEO. Our values include being transparent. So our values start out with being kind and then being transparent. So in order to be transparent, we have to have open communication. That's something that we found, especially this past year, that was really important because we hired several new people right before, all of the closures with COVID. And with that, those folks and, our existing staff were a little trepidatious about what was happening, right? Because everything seemed unsure. But from the very beginning, we let them know, what our intentions were and how we were going to follow through. Because in order for us to have survived and even thrived during this unknown period, we had to work collectively and they had to know everything that was going on. So we let them know where we were in terms of a financial footing. We let them know the things that we had in process, right, to keep them. Because our number one goal was to keep all of our employees. And that's actually exactly what we did. So that then fosters a lot of trust, right, and loyalty. So it's just starting from the beginning and then continuing that throughout, the time that they're with us. All I can say is, we believe in a family environment here. We're very inclusive. We do different activities, not only with our clients, but with our staff themselves. We do things out in the community. Just recently, we were actually at Franklinton Farms together, and we were helping them doing their spring cleaning and weeding and things like that. That fosters a really great community internally, right? And then it's expressed outwardly to our clients and our, bigger community that way.
So one of the follow-up questions I have to that is a lot of companies, a lot of small businesses will say they want to be transparent, they want to build trust with their employees, but taking legitimate steps or intentional steps to making that happen is generally where everyone falls down, right? We love the idea, but the execution of it just doesn't work. So when you say foster that openness, foster that inclusivity, what does that really look like for you and Z Promotions?
Well, we also have weekly team meetings. So that's an open time for us to discuss any issues or concerns. We feel like that when you're in an environment, a larger environment, you're going to be much more inquisitive and open to asking your questions versus, a one-on-one situation. We do one-on-ones as well weekly, but we feel like that sometimes some team members may be they feel put on the spot or a little intimidated in that situation. But when the entire team comes together as a collective, what happens is one person's comment then generates another comment. And the key is that the leaders answer everything openly and honestly. And if we don't have the answer to the question, the answer is always, I'm not sure, but I will get back to you within such and such time frame. So we have to sit there and make sure and commit ourselves to a certain time frame to hold ourselves accountable to the team so that they're getting the assured response that they deserve.
Wonderful. Yeah. And when we talk about those following the steps, right? One, two, three, and sticking to that plan, it's so important because when you get caught up in the emotion of the moment, you want to rely back on the process that actually got you there so you don't fall victim to those emotions. And some of the things that you've talked about there, whether it's one-on-one meetings or group meetings, they kind of foster exactly what you're hoping to accomplish there. Quick question: how many people work for Z Promotions?
So currently we have on staff 6 people, but we have several contractors as well. So 6 regular staff members, and then we have a sprinkling of different contractors where they may be lead generation generators, folks in sales, and then we also contract other parts, which may have to do with admin and things like that. So.
Okay. So then my follow-up to that is, and this is going to be a really wide open question for you, so you can take it whichever way you want to. Knowing that you have a team of people that rely on you for their well-being and their family's well-being. When you look at the term or the word diversity, what does that really mean for Zulene? What does that mean for Z Promotions?
So diversity to me does not just rest on ethnic or cultural diversity. For us, what's important is that we have also diverse representation in thought, in age, in experience, even in industry. So we have people in sales that have not done promotional products. So, but it's great to have somebody come in from another industry and also, teach us some of the things that they have done, because hopefully that's going to be able to enrich our team. So there are many different measures of diversity. We welcome all of them. It is also spoken about consistently throughout every team meeting and also during our interview and training and onboarding process. So we do talk about our diversity statement, how important it is, how we do have a zero tolerance in terms of any type of discrimination, harassment, that kind of thing. So it is a seed that we plant from the beginning, and it's something that we continue to grow and cultivate. Diversity, we also breed diversity by making sure that we're inclusive, because you can't have diversity until you're inclusive first. So it's making sure that foundation is there. Part of that foundation we have created by making sure that our staff members, and it's not just the staff, I participate, our president participates, so all the leadership participates in our diversity, equity, and inclusion meetings that we have arranged. So we all participate in regular workshops. We typically do them either 2 or 3 times a month. So that's something that is extremely important to us. And then, now that we're creating that foundation and everybody understands who we are, that's when we start seeking out, diversifying our staff, because we have to make sure everybody is in alignment with our values and our vision and our mission. And then, we diversify our staff. So with that, then, we go out and we make sure that every job posting, it is equal opportunity, and we do not ask any disqualifying questions or put disqualifying statements in there. So we are open to bringing on anyone to our business, just because we understand that to be enriched, to be innovative, to really push forward in business, you have to have people with diverse backgrounds in all areas.
Okay, so from a student perspective, let's say that they're going to seek out a new job opportunity. Maybe they want to change industries, change careers, or they're just looking to get into a new line of work. What should they be looking for from a company when they want to care, or they do care about diversity and equity and inclusion, and they want to do the right thing socially, from a socially responsible standpoint? What should they be looking for when they look at a company's record?
So it's, I love that question, because it's also the same things that we actually teach our sales staff. So when we do business with a company, we make sure that they're also in alignment with our value system, right? We want to do business with people like us. So what's really important is when you start searching is, doing really simple searches first, look at the company website, see, what they're stating in terms of their diversity statement or mission. Ours is clearly displayed on our About Us page, and you can read about that. Beyond that, then look into their profiles online, look up press releases, see what they're involved in, because let's see if they're putting their money where their mouth is, right? So that's what I would do. I would challenge. And also, it's okay nowadays during interviews or inquiry processes, when you're going through the job cycle, you can ask, them what their diversity mission is, what they do out in the community, what they look for in the hiring process, that kind of stuff. Are there any limitations or anything like that? You can ask that and be comfortable in asking that, because if that business or the representative from that business is uncomfortable in answering any of those questions, that may not be the place for you if that is something that is extremely important to you. For us, it is extremely important. So for you, if that is something that is of leading importance to you, ask those questions.
So a leading question here is now, have you ever been or felt the need to turn down business just because there wasn't an alignment between the two companies?
Absolutely.
How did
We
that?
have done that. So if I'm not going to name any particular business,
No,
so
I'm
I
not
won't
asking
ever
you
speak,
to.
but there has come a time or two where we have had to turn away business. And it's just really looking at every situation, whether it's for us interviewing a new possible employee, or basically vetting out a new business prospect. We look at it and we look over our values and we say, okay, do we feel like that they exemplify kindness, because that's our first value? Do they exemplify being transparent? Do they like to have fun? That's our third value.
Yeah.
Do they seem to listen, and do they seem to learn? So those are our next values. And our last one is be involved. Now, it's not about just being involved out in the community, which we are. With Z Promotions, I told you, we like to do community activities together as a team, but it's also important to be involved internally. We like to know, what they do internally with their staff members, right? How are things set up? Is it a friendly environment? What is their culture like? If it's in alignment, then we know, great, this is going to be a perfect match between the two of us, because there's going to be synergy there. So we do a bit of research, and the only time that we have turned away business, which has happened, but it's not very often, is when we feel like it completely goes against our values and ethics. There has been circumstance of ethical issues, we felt like. And so we don't have a problem saying, well, we feel like we're not aligned at this point, so we will not be able to really benefit you, right, and support you in your marketing. And we feel that perhaps you should look for, an other representation that's going to be able to support you in the manner that is going to make you successful. So it's not about bringing them down. It's about, hey, let's make the best match for both sides.
Yeah, and you need to address it at the beginning of the relationship. I mean, even if there's going to be a relationship, because if you enter in under false pretenses, at some point in time, issues are going to rear their ugly head. And like you said, you just don't want to have to deal with it after the fact. Now, we did have a question come in that focused more on the applicant side, right? Bringing people into Z Promotions. And it was, how are you ensuring applicants have shared values with your organization during the interview process? Would you be able to answer that for us, Zulene?
Well, it's just basically, first of all, we ask them how they feel about our values. That's the first question, and it's just to see if that is something that resonates with them, right? And what we do is we typically give them examples of those values for us. We won't ask them for examples unless they decide to volunteer, right? But we give them examples, and we ask them how they feel about that, and if it resonates well with them. Because same a way that we would treat a prospect or a client, we look at it. If there's a misalignment there, we are going to be very forthright, from the very beginning, and say, well, it may not be the best fit. And we're concerned because we want to make sure that everyone who comes on board Z Promotions is successful, right, in their position. And if it's not going to be full synergy there, then, most likely they're not going to be able to, fulfill everything that they would expect here. So we are looking out for that person as well, because it has to be a really good match. I haven't been told yet that people don't like to have fun or be kind. Those things have not come up, luckily. But you never know, because there are personalities out there. Maybe they are uncomfortable, in certain situations where it would, have them extol those virtues, and they're just not able to do it, which is fine. But, then it's about, there's probably not a right seat on our bus. But one thing that I do like to do, I do have a very large business network. Many times I will also make recommendations and referrals. And I've done that because if I feel like somebody is a great candidate, but perhaps they're just not a good fit for Z Promotions, but because of their skill set, their expertise, their background, I have had recommendations made to some of the folks in my network. And, they've worked out.
All righty, wonderful. So we're going to do a little bit of a pivot here, and that's to take us down the road of entrepreneurship and developing skill sets. So am I right in making the assumption that you've been an entrepreneur or a small business owner for an extended period of time?
Yeah, so the entire 15 years, I will say, though, I was not an entrepreneur prior to starting Z Promotions. So I did come in very cold and a little blind to that side, yes.
Okay. Well, actually, that's a great jumping off place. I'm just interested, we get dozens of students coming through each year that want to open up their own business, that want to be an entrepreneur. When you look at skill sets that are going to set them ahead, what are you recommending? What are you searching for or recommend that they search out?
Skill sets for themselves if they're exploring and becoming
Correct.
an entrepreneur?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, with that, something that's very important is that they be open to building a network for themselves. Not everyone is skilled or enjoys getting out there and getting to know people. But now, COVID has shown us you don't always have to go to those physical events, right? I say make sure and strengthen your knowledge of LinkedIn. That is the business community and typically the ones that you want to reach out to. So, and build a strong network there, because that network is going to be able to help you not only with sales, because everyone thinks about it of, oh, how can I increase my revenue? But they're also there to help you. You can find mentors there. You can find people of different experiences and backgrounds, things that perhaps they're even in your industry. I have plenty of people in my own industry, in my network, because those are the ones that I reach out to if I have specific problems or issues that may come up, because then I can easily reach out to them and get questions answered, or find out from their own experiences how to handle an issue that I may be going through. So building your own network is very important. After that is making sure you have humility, because you should always, throughout your life cycle of being an entrepreneur, have a mentor. So just because I'm an entrepreneur and I've been doing it 15 years does not make me the guru, right, of business. I have a mentor that I meet with regularly. I have a new one that I'm actually going to see next week as well. You don't have to have just one, you can have several, but someone that you can bounce ideas off of, someone that you can learn from their experiences, someone that can share resources with you. The important thing also about having a mentor, though, is not for it to be one-sided. You should be able to give to that mentor as well, even if they're at a different level, right, of business or life or whatever it may be. Just make sure that there is some reciprocity. In other words, whenever you're learning something new, share that with them, right? Because they don't know everything as well, but just having somebody there to be able to support you and help you through things and help you think through things and situations and problems is extremely helpful. And then making sure, and this is really important, that you have strong relationships with people who are going to be invested in your success. And those people are bankers. From the very beginning, I would say diversify your bankers. Don't have all your eggs in one basket and have one banker when you start your business. You want to make sure and start fostering and developing a strong relationship with different bankers. The importance for this is, you may not need something immediately, but perhaps down the road, something comes up and you need their expertise, their help, and their advocacy. If you don't have that relationship, they can't advocate for you. Prime example is what happened with COVID. So many small businesses, right, were pushed to the side. And when, governmental assistance came out with things like the PPP and EIDL loan, many small businesses were actually in a bad spot because they didn't have relationships with their bankers. So those bankers would not be able to advocate for them effectively. Whereas if there was an established relationship, you would have probably been pushed through the line a little quicker, right? Because they understood your business and, could go ahead and make things happen for you. So having those kind of relationships are important. Make sure you have a great business attorney. Make sure you have a CPA. We also have a financial advisor. Many people say, well, why do I need a financial advisor if I have a CPA? That's someone who's going to look and help, investing in your business and helping it to grow. The CPA is really great in terms of, looking over things in terms of tax advantages, looking at your accounting, things like that. So everybody plays to their strengths and being able to help develop your business. The great thing about having all these different players, though, is that they hold each other accountable as well. So I don't have to be the expert, right, in everything business, which I wasn't, because I told you I came in cold, was never an entrepreneur before. But because I had these people in place, I would bounce questions, right, to each and every one of them, right? And it may have been the same question, but it was a way of being able to hold them accountable, right? Because I was not familiar with a lot of those areas. And then, of course, I developed my knowledge because I had to over time, but that was with the assistance of all of these players. And there are many other areas that you should look into as well, but those are the basics to make sure that you start out with that type of team.
Well, I want to be respectful of your time because we said we'd probably try and keep this around 30 minutes or so. But you talked about, you said one of my favorite words, and that's reciprocity, right? And that, I guess for me, that is, I want to find ways that I can add value to the relationship for the other person. And, eventually it's going to come down to revenue, and eventually it's going to come down to network and getting some of that coming back to you. But I always think that if you can lead first with how you can help other people achieve their goals, it makes everything so much easier down the line. So I really appreciated you saying that, Zulene. Okay, so to wrap this up, I just wanted to ask you the question: do you have anything that you would ask of the Columbus State community, our students, our faculty, our staff, in how we go forward from here? Any last thoughts that you would provide to us?
Well, not necessarily a thought, but I would pose a question. So, and this goes to the reciprocity that you're talking of, that you had talked about, because that's also very important to us. But I would like to know, how further can I help you? It's all about what we can do to help support each other. My success in business is going to be ensured by making sure that we have a strong foundation and a strong unit of new entrepreneurs coming out. So whatever I can do to help, please let me know.
Oh, see, now you got my creative juices flowing, and I could probably give you a couple answers right off the top of my head, but I should probably
Great.
bite my tongue until I think it through a little bit more. What I would say to that is Columbus State's a great place because, at least for me, it's not traditional textbook learning, right? All of our students, whether they're 16 years old and still in high school, or they've been into 3 different careers and they're 55 plus years old, there's always an immediate need or immediate problem that they're trying to solve in their own life. But there's also these long-term goals that our students have. And so the balance of this short versus long-term really means that real-world learning and real-world application is so critically important for not just our students, but students in general. So, Zulene, finding ways to get you into our classrooms, whether it's via interview or content learning or problem solving or projects, that's always something that I'm going to encourage from anyone that I speak to when it comes to Columbus State.
Well, I truly meant what I said. So we can talk offline about it further. Absolutely. And Columbus State does have a special place in my heart because my son did graduate there from the culinary program.
Oh, okay,
So
very good.
anything that I can do to give back, because he is now, in his career and he's doing well. And, Columbus State helped him get there. So thank you.
Wonderful. So once again, we had the wonderful opportunity to speak with Zulene Adams today of Z Promotions. And Zulene, do I have this right? It's zp-a.com.
You've got it.
All right, wonderful. So I thank you very much for your time. We're going to have more of these interviews coming down the line. And if you have any questions, if you want to attend, feel free to check out our YouTube page for Columbus State Business Programs. Have a great day, everybody.